schools that are only like 5% or more
No, you're
black
not. Yeah,
and
it's not a
5% or more
statistic that I'm
white.
taking from anywhere specific. This is a logical
No,
follow through
okay,
here.
because
Hold on. If the
you wanna,
if the property taxes are less, then that means that the school is going to get less funding. It
property
is
taxes are
literally
not
that
less in
simple.
urban areas.
Wait,
If they live in urban areas,
if they're
property taxes are
poorer,
not
they're
less.
going to be paying less in taxes. This is why poorer
They live-
neighborhoods have shittier schools.
No, so they often within the districts they receive funding. Yeah. What I was saying was, it's not the same thing. Just because the fetus is inside the mother doesn't mean it's like not autonomous. It is its own body, and you can't just kill it just because it's in the body.
Well, the thing is that I don't really get super in the weeds about arguing the principles of abortion. I think that abortion is something that, regardless of what you think about it, it's not going to go away. It's just not. So the best thing we can do
Yeah,
is try and reduce abortion rates the safest way possible.
yeah, I think banning them is one of those ways.
No, banning abortion is you might see a reduction in abortion statistics in some states, but that's not the safest way of obtaining that. So you have various problems there. You have the possibility that people will just go to a different state to obtain an abortion. You also have the possibility that there will be more maternal deaths. They have done studies where they looked at the possibility of a national abortion ban and estimated that we would see a very large increase in maternal death. Even more so, I mean, look in the countries where abortion is strictly outlawed, abortion still takes place. They're just back alley abortions that are far more dangerous. That's why,
Yeah.
so the better way
So
to reduce abortion is by sex ed and contraceptive access.
no, I definitely agree that those are ways to reduce abortion. And then on top of that, I think you should ban them. There's no reason to have them unless maybe like the life's mother is in danger.
Right, but do you see the problem there is that people get abortions whether it's banned or not, right?
Yeah, people kill people, whether it's illegal or not.
Right, but abortion is a little bit of a different thing. Because
Not really.
we are still talking about a process within someone else's body. So you get into very murky territory then as well. How much control should the government have over what somebody does with a process taking place in their body? The fetus, by the way, is not
Well,
autonomous because autonomous means able to survive on its own. And the fetus isn't able
oh,
to
okay,
survive on
true. I
its
mean,
own.
in that sense, right? When I said that, I mean like it is its own life. It's not the mother's body. It's its own thing.
Yeah, so
Um,
why do the whole abortion ban and increase maternal deaths and increase the likelihood of illegal abortions taking place that are far more unsafe? Then you could see a result of more death, right? Which is the opposite of pro-life to begin with, because now you're talking about possibly
well, I
killing
think
the fetus and the mother in the process of trying to obtain an illegal abortion. Why wouldn't we just focus our efforts on providing contraceptive access and better sex ed, all of which has been empirically demonstrated to reduce abortion?
what's that word you always love to use? It's not a false dichotomy. You can do both, Hunter. So if using contraceptives and promoting that and teaching sex ed lowers birth rates, unwanted pregnancies, and
Mhm.
also in turn reduces abortions, banning abortions will also reduce abortions.
But the
And
banning
yes, you
of
can say,
abortion is what increases the likelihood of death. That's the problem.
uh, no, no, because abortions in a sense are creating death. It's just legal death. You're
Well,
killing the
no,
fetus.
because yeah, but now you're talking about if it's illegal, people obtaining abortions illegally in a way that's likely to not only result in the death of a fetus, but also the death of themselves. Why would we do
I
that
don't
when
think
we know that
the
we can safely reduce abortion in ways that doesn't involve risking the life of the mother?
Well, I think you would further decrease abortion by banning it, just outright. Like
You,
I
of
think
course,
that
you're
you
going
would
to see
save.
some abortion go down, but again, it's at what cost, right? It's at the cost of the mother's well-being,
What do you mean? How is that at the cost of the mother's well-being?
because you now increase the risk of maternal death. You also increase the risk of obtaining illegal abortions. This is why I've said abortion is not going to just go away. It's been around forever. Back in the olden
Right.
days, you
So
can read stories about women who would try and kill the fetus by punching their stomachs and all sorts of fucked up shit. So why go
Yeah,
down that
and so
path where there's a lot of risks associated when instead you could just provide contraception and better sex ed, which has been shown to reduce abortion significantly and safely?
right. So what I'm saying is, I think by banning it, you would actually save overall more lives. I don't think the rate of mothers that are going to go and do that would be more than the amount of children saved by banning it. Because I mean,
The
realistically, if you think about it, this is one of the points that I thought of earlier whenever you were talking about it. Access to contraceptives
Mhm.
is very wide. Saying that there's a lack of access is just not accurate. I mean,
There's not a lack of
especially within.
access, but it could be better provided. So there are still areas where contraception is not as easily obtained.
That, I don't think that's true. So, the largest like rates of abortion come from like black women. So,
And do you
but
think
like the
that maybe
most like
there's any problems within the black community with lack of contraceptive access?
no, because they have the most Planned Parenthoods, which give contraceptives.
Well, the reason there's a higher rate of abortion among the black community is it is actually partly because not only lack of access, because you're right that there are certain circumstances where they do have adequate access, but also it's been shown that black women just use contraception less frequently. So that plays a role, and you know where I'm going with this, right? That's because of a lack of sex ed. Sex ed shouldn't just be, hey, here's how to safely have sex or whatever. It should be, here's how to take your fucking birth control. Here's how you need to take it so that you can avoid an unwanted pregnancy.
Yeah,
And
I don't think it is
hold on,
that
wait.
though.
It's not just a coincidence that the black community has lower funded schools. So there's lower or poor quality of sex education. And then you see black women using contraceptives less or improperly.
So I think I mean on 2 points. I think the study about black schools receiving less funding is uh not exactly accurate, but regardless, I don't think the issue coming from that
How is
community
it
is that they
inaccurate?
don't.
Wait, hold on.
No,
No, no, no, no,
I
no.
think it was
Wait,
taken.
hold on.
No,
Come on. Is it yes or no? Does the black community in more of the urban areas, do they or do they not tend to have more poverty? Yes or no?
yeah. So
Okay, so are public
the
schools funded by the
well,
taxes in that local area?
I
Yes
didn't
or
answer
no?
that. So what I was saying is when that statistic was taken from like the bottom like 10%, or I think it was taken from schools that are only like 5% or more
No, you're not.
black and
It's not a
5% or more
statistic that I'm
white.
taking from anywhere specific. This is a logical
No,
follow through
okay,
here. Hold on.
because you want to
If the property taxes are less, then that means that the school is going to get less funding. It
property
is
taxes are
literally
not
that
less in
simple.
urban areas.
Wait,
If they live in urban areas,
if they're
property taxes are
poorer,
not
they're
less.
going to be paying less in taxes. This is why
They
poorer
live
neighborhoods have shittier schools.
no, so they often within the districts they receive funding from the richer area or communities within the same district. It's district wide, but regardless, um, I'll have to double check, so I don't want to double down on this. I'm pretty sure whenever you take it into account, like all schools, not just schools that are 5% or less, like or sorry, 95% or less white, or 95% or more white, or 95% or more black. Black people actually do receive more funding for the schools,
Black
but
people
that's
do?
not the point. Yes, I think
Probably
so.
because they're already underfunded. So yeah, there's a compensation process.
If they're underfunded, why are they receiving more funding? What?
Public schools are
No,
funded. Wait, no, if they're underfunded, then the reason they're probably getting compensation is because they're originally underfunded. That's what I'm saying.
no. That's what I'm saying. They receive more funding. They're not underfunded. But that's not even what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't think what the issue with the reason why like black people are getting abortions is not they completely understand. Hey, this contraceptive will help me not have a child. I think there's many things to it. I think generally, and this is not just for that community. This
Holy
goes
shit.
for
I'm cutting you off again. I'm going to cut you off again. So,
yeah.
local funding. At the local level, funding is often regressive. On average, districts with mostly non poor students tend to have more money to spend than districts that have many poor students. This is to be expected because local funding levels are often a reflection of school district demographics. A district with a large population of non poor students, for example, will be able to raise more in property taxes because the families paying those taxes have greater property wealth. In high poverty districts, the opposite is true.
Right. No, I'll send you. Well, I'm not going to double down on that right now. Like I said,
You
I'll
shouldn't
have to
double
pull
down
it
on that
up.
because that's the stupidest fucking thing you've said, and we've talked multiple times. So yeah, you should stop double down on
That is
it.
definitely not the dumbest thing I've ever said. Um,
It's the most
I think
obviously wrong thing you've said. Then how about that?
you know what, Hunter? I'll take it. Um, no, so give me one second. Uh, regardless, like I said, I don't think it's a lack of information per se that they know that this will help reduce some get unwanted pregnancies. I think it's just they don't want to, and I think that's a large culture within all communities is that they just don't care to or want to.
Right. So we're back
Um,
to the same thing that you people do every single goddamn time, which is no,
what?
there's no deeper problem. It's just a personal, individual failure of the black people. This is
Well,
why
I
it's a
said
stupid
it's
fuck
a lot of
argument, and it's
communities.
also not
I think it's a
true.
lot of communities.
Are you aware that there are
Um,
statistics that have already shown that black women do use contraception less, and they also use contraception wrongly when they do use it?
no, I've not seen that one.
All right, I'll pull it up.
But if they're using it less, why is that? You think it's purely because they don't know how to?
No, I don't think it's purely because they don't know how to, but I think that better sex ed would definitely reinforce an idea that you need to
Well,
use contraception. And right now, that's not
no,
there.
I think you take things as simple as like using a condom. You just put it on, honey. Roll it on. Shows you which way you should go on. Roll it on, and there you go.
Yeah, it's not
It's not
actually
hard to
that
do.
it's unfortunately not that easy because we're talking right now about women using contraception, not the men.
I
And in that
I
case,
mean,
there's pills. You have to take it consistently and accurately.
right. Yeah, I mean that's all explained whenever you get the pills, is it not? You don't have to teach that in school necessarily. I think you should, but you don't have to say like whenever you go to the pharmaceutical, it says, "Hey, take these every single day." It literally says it on the label.
Okay, but still, if you are going through sex ed, you'll have a deeper understanding of that to begin with. So let's
Right,
see.
and I think I mean if women are consenting to men not using condoms, then it's kind of also just like, hey, maybe you should tell them put it on. It's because
The disparities in unintended pregnancy rates result mainly from similar disparities in access to and effective use of contraceptives. As of 2002, 15% of black women at risk of unintended pregnancy were not practicing contraception, compared with 12% and 9% of their Hispanic and white counterparts, respectively. Approximately half of all sexually active women of reproductive age are estimated to be in need of publicly funded services, and only 50% of them are served under the current system. Okay, that's not the same thing.
like I said, I mean I'm pretty sure Planned Parenthood hands out like free condoms all the time. No,
Listen to
at least
this.
the one,
So, the
huh?
state with the highest teen pregnancy rate is Arkansas. And it's in Arkansas
Yeah,
where there is no mandate for sex education.
right. And I'm not against. I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm not against that. I'm saying I don't think um just saying, hey guys, this is how you use it and use it to avoid pregnancy is gonna stop the issue. Like I said, I think
Really?
many of
Then
these
how come
people.
that's literally what we're seeing happening?
No. What we're seeing when you don't teach it at all, that it does increase pregnancies. But what I'm saying is it's not the only contributing factor because these people, there are definitely people that know about it, like know that hey, if I do have sex without a condom or sex without any other contraceptives, I could have a kid or an STD. They still do it, and they still get pregnant, and then they still get an abortion. So just ban the abortion, as well as teach sex
No.
ed.
Then you're putting more people at risk. Instead, provide
You're not putting more
contraception
people at risk.
use, contraceptive access, and better sex ed. Here's another study for you. Research shows that teen pregnancy declines between 1995 and 2002 were overwhelmingly the result of improvements in contraceptive use, with contraception accounting for
Yeah, yeah,
86% of the decline.
yeah. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing with that. And I'm saying cherry on top, finish it, ban abortion so you're not killing innocent babies. Simple
But
as.
then you'd be killing innocent mothers.
Not really.
Quite
I
literally,
because
yes.
no, no, no. Because I think the rate that you would see reduced in mothers killing children through abortion
Women
would
in the US are most
outweigh.
likely to die from complications related to pregnancy or childbirth. In 2008, there were 17 maternal deaths for every 100,000 live births in the US, a ratio more than double that of most other high income countries.
What does that have to do with what we're saying?
I'm talking about more possible maternal death.
Yeah, that's awful. I think we should look into why those countries are having
So,
higher
are you in favor
success
of like
with
universal, not universal healthcare, sorry, but like a public option for healthcare?
elaborate what you mean by that.
We pay taxes to provide a degree of healthcare that's accessible to every American. So it's not basically your wealth or lack thereof will not hinder you from getting medical treatment.
Yeah, to an extent. Like I think I think there needs to be certain factors that play into it. Like
Mhm.
I think people who I think there's definitely like opportunities that, well, I don't want to say how it should be done, but I think there definitely needs to be a way to control like people who are exploiting or leeching off of a system. I feel like that is damaging.
Well, I
But
agree,
if it
but
could
I
be
don't know
done
how would people be
appropriately.
leeching. How would people leech off of like a healthcare system necessarily?
I mean, so I mean, you can see it from things like people abusing prescriptions that aren't necessarily needed and stuff like that, or even cosmetic surgeries, um, or things like such as like so I don't personally agree with like gender assigning surgeries, but that's a debate for
You couldn't
another
even
time,
dream of being a
I
man and
guess.
have as many
The thing
And
feelings
is
so
as
that
I think
it's like it's almost necessary that you're in favor of some form of public option if you
yeah,
also want
yeah,
to see less abortion, because the public
no,
option is what's going
absolutely,
to provide even better access to contraception.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. I didn't disagree with that. No.
Okay. Well, I'll read you this one too. Researchers found an inverse relationship between abortion restrictions and women and children's health outcomes. Let's see. South Carolina, for example, has 14 abortion restrictions and also some of the worst outcomes for women's health in the country. In 2015, one third of South Carolina had no dedicated healthcare provider, plus maternal mortality rates had risen 300%.
So I think that, like I said, I think there's a bunch of steps that we need to take to ensure that they're not in danger for their life whenever they're having pregnancies. And like I said, I think if that's what it comes down to, the mother is ultimately going to die from having the child. That would be one of the like acceptable reasons to perform these procedures. I don't think it needs to be done as a form of birth control though, or as a
I
form
agree.
of like,
Most people who get abortions are not doing it as just a form of birth control.
then what are they? Well, most what were they doing it for? Because they're not doing it because their life is in danger per se.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad. I thought you meant like a birth control thing as a frivolous thing. No. Never mind. Yeah, I guess yeah. Abortion is obviously a call. Is obviously a form of birth control. I thought you meant like instead of birth control, they're
Yeah,
just getting an abortion.
right. Yeah, I don't think they're saying, well, you know what? I'll just conceive a child and then abort it after. No, I don't think they're doing that per se. I'm sure there's like one in a trillion that do. Obviously more than that, but you know what I'm saying.
Okay,
Because
so
there are
just
some evil people out
let's
there
wrap
that.
this call up then, because I don't even know your overall point anymore.
Well, yeah. What I'm saying is, I think we should increase the healthcare provided to women, and even like socially, like help mothers, and even if they're single mothers, but as well as for family units as well, increase the social aid that we give to them while restricting abortions to only absolute medical necessity. And yes,
Even though the studies have
increase
shown that it
sexual
can
education.
result in a lot of negative outcomes for both women and children.
Well, the one you just read, it wasn't because it wasn't necessarily because they limited abortion. It was because they also just don't have good healthcare provided to um, women who get pregnant, and that would solve that problem. Like reduce the rates of women dying from birth or pregnancy by increasing the amount of funding and services we can provide them.
Okay, cool. So yeah, universal health. Or I need to stop saying universal healthcare. That's
I know
I forget that it's an
it
actual
sounds.
policy, and then I say it thinking it's just means like public option. But okay, so you're in favor of public option, better contraceptive, better sex ed. You just think that abortion should be restricted
For him
instead,
being a man,
or on
yeah, just
top of
good to
that
see
as
you,
well.
On
Hunter.
top of, yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, you're free to have that opinion. It just seems as though right now what the studies have shown is that it does tend to result in a lot of negative outcomes for mothers and children. And I feel like if you're going to take a pro-life position, that should be pro-life for everybody, not just pro-life for the fetus. Especially because what Republicans do more times than not is they're just pro-birth. They only care about the fetus. The minute that fetus pops out, Republicans don't give a fuck about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of Republicans, especially the ones in office now, are kind of just doing it for the votes and saying, "Look how righteous I am." It's kind of cringe. I
Yeah.
almost use a different word. Sorry, I know you're streaming, but it's kind of cringe. Um, and so I'm strongly against that. That's why I think uh, I'll wrap this up with this final comment. I think one of the biggest things that will help the Republican Party, which I don't really vote. Because I don't vote unless I like someone. Um, but I think what would help them is if the Republican Party had their eyes more open to social services and social welfare, even things like increasing like public transport and stuff like that. I don't know why they let that be purely like a Democrat thing. I think you
Right.
can have conservative, I guess, policies while also advocating for social policies. And I
Right.
think that's going to be their downfall. I think that's why they kind of suck. They
Yeah.
suck ass right now.
All right. Well, thanks for
But
coming on. This conversation was definitely better than our previous one, so I can appreciate that.
I'm
Yeah.
quite capable of that,
Have a good one.
yeah. All right, take care.